That was before, this is after.
Hi, my name is Kassie, and this is my story. I grew up in a Christian home with just me and my mom, and I was saved when I was 4, but you can't really understand everything that Christ did for you when you were 4. So when I was in 4th grade, we had ended up switching churches to the church I go to now, and I got really involved in the youth ministry there, and I started going to camp over the summers, Camp Harvest, best place on earth, and in 6th grade I rededicated my life to Christ, but that was when I started to fully understand what it meant to be a Christian and to live out my faith, even though the worst was so much farther along. And then later that year my mom was diagnosed with a bunch of different kinds of breast cancer, and it was just really hard, but during the entire time I had this overwhelming sense of just peace about the whole thing, and I knew that it was in God's control and that He was gonna have my back the whole time anyway, and so I was just never really worried about it. And so that took up all of 2006, and then the rest of junior high was basically okay. I didn't really have a lot of issues or anything like that, and then but from my mom's cancer, she got involved in a chronic illness small group through our church, and so it kind of just started this ministry that grew a lot after that, and we would just basically go visit people in hospitals and start these relationships with them and get really close with them, and then a lot of them ended up dying, so I ended up watching 9 people die in a matter of 3 years or something like that, and it was just, I didn't realize how much it affected me at the time, and then just different things happened in high school. My dad died when I was a sophomore. That wasn't a huge deal. He was never a huge part of my life, but knowing that he wasn't a believer and that I wasn't going to get to see him after that was something that was hard to come to terms with. And then got attacked by a dog in my junior year, and that was just a really screwed up thing. And then my grandpa died in my senior year of high school, and that was by far the worst thing that's ever happened, and it just kind of completely wrecked me, and I hit rock bottom worse than I ever had before. And it was just, the rest of 2012 was just a really, really, really bad year. Even after I got to college, I just hated everything, and it was just a really, really lonely time, and it was the first time I was ever actually angry with God, and it got to the point where I would do anything just to feel something, and I was just so oblivious to everything going around me. I just wasn't feeling anything, and there would be times when I would laugh with my friends and things like that, but everything was on a surface level where I wasn't interacting with the world at all. And so then after first quarter, I was deciding on whether or not I was going to stay at DePaul, and then I ended up going to this conference called Passion over New Year's, and I got to spend a lot of time with girls that I was really close to at church that I hadn't got to in a long time, and God really impacted my life there and showed me what it means to have a passion for Him. So I understood what it meant to live for Him. I knew what Christ did for me, but passion was I really knew what it was to have a passion for Christ, to want to live for Christ and live my faith and show others the light of Christ through me. And I realized that by making myself numb to everything around me and just not caring, I was taken away from God's part of my story. And so after Passion, I came back to school, and last quarter especially was just a time of growing in my faith and being in the Word and really just developing a passion for Christ and things like that. And so ever since then I've just grown really, really solid relationships, and I've understood what it means to have a joy in Christ, even during the worst of situations. And so before I was numb, and after I'm joyful.